Welcome back, everyone. This is Asa from Mountain Dew Tree, and this is Dueling Network. This is a series I'm going to start doing on the card game Yu-Gi-Oh! I have been a fan since day one in America, and I was just a young lad at the time, and over the years, there's been new cards and new stuff. I know a lot of people are not card gamers, and that's why you can go and click my other videos. But we do have some card gamer fans as well. And this is my favorite card game of them all. So what I'm going to do in this series is not only play, but kind of do quote-unquote deck profiles. But what I notice with deck profiles and what I want to do differently from the ones I watch is when I see a deck profile, you see a lot of this, okay, today I'm going to be doing this tier 1, blah, blah, blah. Some of this guy do this, like they say, like, all right, well, I'll throw it on Gores and I do this and this, and like they don't explain it because they assume that you already know what's going on. And what I want to do is kind of go to the people who don't know the new decks, don't know what they want to do. I don't like doing tier 1 decks normally. I haven't built a tier 1 deck in years. I like playing more fun decks that work. And I'll explain, this is one of them. This is the one I'm going to open with. It's called Monarch Stun. But what I like to do is I'm going to really take some time and explain it, and then apply it and show you in a duel how it works. Oh, and sorry for the reduced quality on this. I'm trying to figure out right now how to use Fraps on this browser. I know how to use it in a browser, but since I have dual monitors, it kind of messes up, and I looked at it, and Fraps actually is fixing the issue, but at the moment, so I'll be using XSplit. So it's going to be a little bit reduced quality. But anyway, let's go on to the deck profile. This one's called Monarch Stun. And like I said, I'm going to kind of go into it more. So if you want to, bam, here you can click this, and you should be able to go right to the duel, so you can just kind of watch it. Let's begin. So Monarch Stun, what is this deck? This is a 2015 January formatted deck. It's really, really easy, and it's really, really fun, and I believe it's pretty cheap. So what's going on? What is this deck centered around? It's around these guys right here, these fiends. I call it Monarch Stun because there's a lot of these. The Monarchs are kind of the focal point of it. So let's just go and we'll start here. We have 2 Chaos the Shadow Monarch. When he is summoned, tribute summoned, you target one card on the field, banish it, and if you do, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent if it was a dark monster. This doesn't have to be a dark monster damage card. You can get rid of anything, and a lot of the issues with cards these days are if they can banish or if they can bounce something from the field to your opponent's hand, it's going to work almost all the time, because usually cards say, if this card would be destroyed, negate it. You're not destroying, you're banishing it. It's great. So you're getting rid of something and summoning a pretty powerful monster. And this deck is really nice in that it gives you opportunity to summon these guys extremely easy. Next, and I'll kind of move these around because this guy right here, these guys go together, is Fire and Ice Hand. First off, their stats aren't terrible. They're both level 4 monsters. And when they die, when they get sent to the graveyard, in our possession, I guess that matters, is when Fire Hand gets sent to the graveyard, you can destroy a monster on your opponent's side of the field, and then summon an Ice Hand from your deck. And when Ice Hand is destroyed and sent to the graveyard by battle, you can destroy a spell or trap card, and then summon Fire Hand. So not only are you constantly destroying spell and traps / monsters with these guys, but you keep summoning monsters and you keep having defense. If you throw one Fire Hand down and have nothing else, all the other ones in your deck, your opponent would have to lose 2 monsters and 2 spells and traps just to get through them all, which is incredible. So chances are they're going to let you live and figure out some other way to kill them because they don't want to lose their monsters. The Fossil Dyna, it's pretty self-explanatory. Neither player can special summon monsters since 2008. The whole deal about Yu-Gi-Oh! Since Elemental Heroes first became a thing, and even before, was special summon. I can only normal summon or set 1 time a turn. Special summon a billion times a turn. When you summon this guy, that is no longer the case. And when he is flipped face up, let's say you can have a defense, you set him down 1 turn, you flip him, all special summon monsters are dead. So it's great. They summon all this stuff and you just destroy it. So I have 2 of those as well. The reason I don't throw 3 of these guys in is you don't need it. The deck runs fast, and it actually would be kind of a dead draw if you got the 3rd one and you can't use it. So I just don't run 2. The thing I do run 2 on though is Gorz, the Emissary of Darkness. For those who don't know his effect, if you take damage from a card your opponent controls, you can special summon from your hand, but you have to have nothing on the field to activate this effect. If you took battle damage, you can special summon a token that attack and defense are that battle damage, and if it's effect damage, you can inflict damage to the same amount to your opponent. So a lot of people like to use this for Exceed summoning down here. Bam, it's a level 7. So you basically, first turn, just, oh no, don't got anything, okay. They attack you, you summon the guy, and next turn you've got a level 7. I've almost put Big Eye in here, probably will. But it's good and easy to summon a huge monster, too. Now, the core of this deck. We have Majesty's Fiend and Vanity's Fiend. Majesty's Fiend, the better of the two, I think. He can't be special summoned, and monster's effects cannot be activated. No monster effects can be activated. Since the dawn of time, this has happened, and effects are key. If you don't, I mean, this thing kills monsters, this banishes monsters, this kills monsters. No longer. Nothing. Nothing. Which means your opponents too. Vanity Fiend, neither player can special summon monsters. What are the 2 things in Yu-Gi-Oh! That people do? They special summon and they use effects like crazy. You stop both of them. That leaves spells and traps and summoning monsters normally. We've got an answer for those as too. We run 3 Forbidden Lances, which you target a face-up monster, they lose 800, and they're unaffected by spells and traps. That can save your monster from a Mirror Force. That can decrease their monster enough to kill. It's got a lot of uses. We run 3 March of the Monarchs. Tribute summoned to monsters you control cannot be targeted by or destroyed by card effects, and you cannot special summons from your extra deck. You don't need to summon anything with your extra deck. All this down here, all these Exceeds, you don't need them really. If you summon something, it cannot be targeted by or destroyed. So you can't even target, you can't compulse, you can't do anything. They are untargetable, these guys. Anything you tribute summon. So once you get these guys out here, they're invincible. Self-explanatory. Pot of Duality, you basically look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add one to your hand, the other one's go to your deck, you shuffle. Once you do that, you cannot special summon. Again, this deck doesn't need special summoning. Now, the cards to get these fiends out, let's say, well, Asa, you know, they just wiped my field and summoned a monster. What's your answer there? We have 2. We have Soul Exchange, where you target opponent's monster, you sacrifice it and summon your monster, although you can't attack that turn. And you have the Monarch Storm Forth. It says once per turn, if you attribute a monster, you can tribute a monster your opponent controls. You can only activate 1 per turn, and you can't special summon that turn anything from your extra deck. Again, you don't need to. So, with 6 of the cards of your deck, and cards to, run through it faster, Reckless Greed and Pot of Duality, not to mention cards that are getting other cards out from your deck and shortening it, you have so many opportunities to use your opponent's monsters to summon these invincible creatures once you play your cards. Okay, and so we have Upstart Goblin, draw a card, your opponent gains life points. So you gain 3 cards, you're gaining 6 cards, you're gaining +2 for each of these. What is that? 12. You have a potential 12 cards you can draw from this deck, which is incredible. You're going to go through this deck so quick. The only card left in this deck would be Royal Decree, which again stops. I love control decks, and this is why. Negate all other trap cards. So the Mirror Force, the Torrential, the Compulsory Evacuation Device, nothing works. So they're so irritated. You get Royal Decree, you get one of these cards, and you get like your Vanity and like Majesty's Fiend first turn, and you're just like, They can't do anything. They can't use traps, they can't use effects, they can't use special summoning. And then if you gain one of these, they can't even be targeted or like killed by anything. So then they pass and pass and pass and pass, and you win because there's nothing they can do. The exception to it, I believe, is Pendulum Summoning. I'm not too sure on it. I think you can special summon still, so they could still get like a fleet enough to wipe out. But they couldn't exceed with the fleet. They could just summon it. Anyway, I don't I don't use this extra deck too much, so I'm going to go kind of fast on this. Abyss Dweller stops things in their graveyard, so twice you can discard an Exceed material, and they can't use card effect that affect the graveyard. Monster Reborn, which is no longer current, but, you know, the zero like that. This guy right here, the Anti-Luminescent Knight, basically changes the effect. I'll just read it here. You can detach one Exceed material from this card, then target another card that would be an appropriate target. That card effect now targets the new target. So basically, they use a compulsory evacuation device. You change it to them, and their monster gets bounced. It's amazing. So, and he's got pretty good attack for a rank 4. This guy is pretty fun. The Evil Swarm Knight. You can detach an Exceed from them, destroy all other cards in the field, and your opponent can't take damage that turn. But you can use it in a chain. So they use a card to kind of like screw you up, and you're like, you know what? Kill everything. He's not too strong, but he doesn't need to be when he can destroy a field. Fairy Knight's pretty neat. It's 3 level 6, and we have plenty of level 6. And basically, you detach both of the or 2 of the Exceed, I guess, and return all other cards on the field to the hand. It's a giant Trunade for everything. And they can't use anything, so you're going to immediately do at least 2,200. The rest are pretty self-explanatory. Cowboy, Gaia Dragon, Gauntlet Launcher I love, just destroy a monster. The Symphony, Maestroke, he can change a face-up attack to face-down defense. Most of the time, monsters with high attacks do not have high defense. Let's see. 1,000, 1,000, 1,200. Yep, okay. What's this guy? 25, not too bad. Silent Honor Arc number 101 can steal a monster your opponent controls and save himself. This guy, I just kind of put him in there. I probably will change him out for Big Eye, but there's so many times I used it and it's nice. Utopia Beyond is pretty funny. He's just 2 level 6 monsters. When he's Exceed summoned, attack of everything your opponent controls becomes 0, which is hilarious. And then once per turn, during your player's turn, either player, excuse me, you can detach an Exceed from this card, target one face-up Exceed monster you control, and one Utopia monster in your graveyard, banish the first, and special summon the second, and gain life points. So, that, just this right here. Attack, all of them goes to 0. Are you kidding me? So they've got this huge fleet, and I'm just like, here you go. Answer that one. Nothing. It's amazing. I want to use it. I haven't got to yet. Chronomali number 6 just basically halves your opponent's life points. Once per turn, you can detach an Exceed, then send the monster equipped by this effect to the graveyard. Half your opponent's life points. Oh, amazing. Crazy Box is just fun. There's a lot of cool effects with them. And then Bouncer to stop your opponent's effects twice and inflict 1,000 damage to them, and he's strong. So anyway, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you kind of how this works. I'll try to talk through it, and let's see if we can't find someone who's willing to give this a good college try. All right, here we go.